Good afternoon again, Your Honor. Raymond Cook for the people.
All right, and we are ready to proceed.
People are ready, Your Honor.
Alex Moore, on behalf of Mr. Duran, Your Honor, the defense is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, very good. You may call your first one.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people would call John Duran, and just for the record, I had a brief conversation with defense counsel. It's my understanding he's willing to stipulate to some...
All right, pause right here. This is a critical moment. The prosecution is calling the defendant's own father as their first witness. That immediately raises the emotional stakes. Jurors tend to see family testimony as more credible, but also more painful. Ask yourself, how bad does a situation have to be for a parent to take the stand against their child?
People's Exhibit 2, those people will intend to admit, so I move to admit that now and certainly will provide testimony for that later on.
And Your Honor, for exam purposes, we would stipulate to what the people have pre-marked Exhibit 2. These are text messages. Go ahead.
Okay, Exhibit 2.
Correct.
I will admit Exhibit 2, although it's been marked, and I'll admit that once it comes forward. Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Will you take a seat, raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give to you the truth and all truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Have a seat. State and spell your first and last name for the record.
My name is John Duran Jr. Spelling on the last name is D-O-R-A-N.
And it's pronounced Doran.
Duran.
Okay, very good. You may inquire.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Okay.
Sir, where do you live?
I live at 13063 Saline Mountain Road, Mount Michigan, 3160.
Is that here
This
in
is
Washington
where the
County?
case starts to lock in legally. Notice what the prosecutor is doing, establishing real-time observation. The witness isn't guessing or assuming. He's watching events unfold live through his security cameras. That matters because it removes speculation and strengthens probable cause.
It is.
Did you live at that address on September 6th of 2025? I want to draw your attention to that date. Did anything happen that day that led you to call 911?
Yes, it did.
What happened that caused you to call 911 that day?
Well, I was at work and I have an alarm system, or I have a camera system on my home, and I was receiving alerts. So I checked my cameras and I noticed that I had someone entering my home.
I want to pause you really quickly. You said you have a camera system. What sort of camera system do you have?
It's a Blink wireless.
Can you describe to the court what that is?
It's
No, go
basically a camera system that has indoor outdoor cameras that have a box that has ability to communicate with the cameras as well as my phone to alert me to any presence of motion.
Who has access, or I'll phrase it this way, do those cameras record or do they just live stream?
Both.
Who has access to the recordings of those cameras?
I do.
Does anyone else have access?
No.
I believe you said that you had watched the cameras, you got a notification. What happened, or what was that notification?
Notification, there was movement in my entrance.
Were you able to see what caused that movement?
Yes.
What caused the movement?
I noticed when I looked at it, it appeared my son was in the house and he was coming through the door and then going into my home.
You said you saw your son. Do you see your son in the courtroom today?
He is.
Can you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Yes, he's wearing a blue and white striped button-down collar shirt.
The record may reflect this witness has identified the defendant.
No objection, Your Honor.
Record shows so reflect.
Thank you. How did your son enter the house?
That single word, no, is massive. No permission means no lawful entry. Even if someone once lived there or had keys in the past, consent can be revoked. And in criminal law, once permission is gone, staying or entering becomes a serious problem.
At this point, I'm not clear. He has had keys to my home. At one time, he lived with me and he's had access to my property. He still has belongings in my home that are there that he's either refused to remove or has neglected to remove.
Does anyone else commonly come into your house? Do you live with anyone else?
I don't live with anyone. I have my dogs in my home, and my girlfriend will attend to my dogs on occasion, but no one else is ever present.
Did you give your son permission to get into your house on September 6th?
No, I did not.
What did you see your son do at your house that day?
Let's slow this down for a second. Firearms, prior issues, and a secured lock box, this isn't just about property anymore. The prosecution is quietly painting intent and safety concerns, which could influence how jurors view motive, risk, and escalation.
Well, what I can see from what was on the cameras was he entered the home and he was going through the end of my house where I have my waiting room, I have a spare bedroom, and he was going into the house to, hook up a cable or a chain to a box that I had there.
When you left your house last, was the house locked, unlocked?
So I was locked. I worked in a prison way too long to leave my doors unlocked.
What was going on with the chain and the lockbox?
The lockbox was something that I had, just property, and they were firearms, and they were, I had them because he was having problems and issues, and I secured them in my home to keep him from them, and I told him he would get them back when we had a conversation about that.
What about the lockbox itself? Who owned that lockbox?
I did.
How much was that lockbox worth? Do you know?
Well, I bought it from an auction at Washington Community College. It came from their police academy, and I paid to have new locks installed on their high security locks that either have to be a special locksmith to obtain. I paid for the locks for it, and I was going to secure my ammo and my stuff in it. But because I needed space for his things, that's what I used it for.
How much did it cost to get that new lock system on it?
Locks were about $135, and then the box itself was like $10 or $25. Like I said, it was an auction, it was cheap.
Okay.
But the retail value was probably $450, $500.
Okay. Was there any property of yours inside the lockbox at the time that you saw the defendant taking the lockbox?
There was none.
Where was the lockbox located in the house?
It was.
This is the emotional peak of the testimony. The father is watching his own son ignore repeated commands to leave in real time. From a legal perspective, refusal after being told to exit can transform a situation from misunderstanding into criminal trespass or worse.
Just at the back of the entrance where he gained access to the home, and it was on the ground. It's a horizontal box. It doesn't stand upright. It's not vertical. So it was in the very far corner of that entranceway.
And when you say a box, how big of a box are we talking here?
6 foot tall, 3.5 foot wide, almost 3 feet deep. Very heavy. It's made out of. It's a box that they use at the police academy at Washington Community College to store ammo and firearms and stuff in.
Was the defendant successful in removing that box from your home?
Yes, he was.
And did that happen that same day that he was able to successfully remove it from the home, or was it a different day that he removed it from the home?
That was the day in question. That was when I actually called and spoke to him on the phone while I was going on in real time as well as recording. What are you doing in there? Get out of my house. You don't belong there. Leave now. And he refused. He was on a rant, and I asked him numerous times, and he refused, and I called 911.
Aside from taking this lockbox, what else did the defendant do in your home?
Well, when I got there after I got out of work, I seen that my gym was basically, I have a home gym, and it was just in a disarray. The biggest problem that was there was I had mirrors all the way around it, and over half the mirrors were smashed into pieces. Their stuff was flipped all over into the middle of the room. I was missing a motorcycle and parts that was in the spare bedroom there. It was a project quite that I had.
I want to make sure I heard you. Did you say a motorcycle and parts or motorcycle parts?
It was a motorcycle that was in pieces. It was in a state of going back together to repair.
Gotcha. You said that you saw broken mirrors and some other damage. Were you able to observe what caused that damage?
As far as the mirrors go, no. I didn't see exactly because it was around the corner from the view of the camera, just slightly out of the line of the camera. The one thing that I did see that was damaged was one of the cameras, or a couple of the cameras themselves. I pushed a button to sound the alarm system on one of the cameras. He looked up at it and he shouted some sort of obscenities or whatnot, threw something at it, pulled the sync modules from the blink system, threw them across the room, and then my system went completely dark out.
How much were those cameras? How much did they cost to install?
I really don't know. I bought some of that stuff on Marketplace. I might have paid $50, $75 for a couple sets. Some people get tired of them, and I've integrated into my system. So that's.
What was the total, or I'll phrase it this way. Can you provide the court with a list of what all was damaged in the house?
I could. I don't have it this time. I mean, if somebody wanted me to go sit down and itemize and say I had 3 mirrors that were this, these 2 cameras was that, the sync module was this, and the motorcycle, again, and all those things would be, I guess, subjective, you know.
Did you incur any expenses as a result of this incident?
I did some, yeah. I had to replace the front door. It was a old wooden door anyways that had a big glass window in it, so I wound up getting a steel door that had a small window in it to prevent such a occurrence again. So I put
Excuse me one moment.
lock and everything else.
Excuse me one moment. Oh, my apologies.
I believe I asked you if you could provide the court with a list or what all was damaged, and you were answering that question. If you want to continue your answer.
Yeah, like I said, if I went through and listed the things, just off the top of my head, I don't know, maybe around $1,000.
Of things that were destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have two mirrors. If I had to pay retail value for those mirrors, I wouldn't even begin to tell you what would have to replace those. But I bought them used off the marketplace and got huge mirrors, paid next to nothing for them, and it took my time and labor and effort to install them. They were of more value than what I had into them.
What is the retail value of those mirrors?
The retail value?
Yeah.
I don't know, if I paid a glass company to come and install those mirrors in my home, it probably cost me $1,500, just the mirrors.
Okay. Now, you said that you were watching all of this via your home camera system. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Does that camera system record?
That one does. I have two systems. I have a Ring camera and I have a Blink. The Blink is the one that I have a subscription for that records. My Ring camera was one of the ones that was, it was picked up and pulled off. It was actually pulled off the wall and thrown at the other one, and that's when the sync module got unplugged and the system went down.
Can that system record while you watch it, or is that something separate?
It can if you have it set the settings for it, because I had to put those new cameras on the system without changing some of the settings. Once it went to a live view, it didn't record those. I subsequently anytime I have a live view, it does show.
Video evidence changes everything. Once footage is authenticated and admitted, the jury isn't relying on memory, they're relying on their own eyes. The big question now becomes, does what you see match what you've been told?
Because there was times they would get to the minute that the cameras were set to, it would go to a live view, but it stopped recording, and I'm on the phone, get out of my house, telling them to get out of there.
Did you watch any of the recordings from that day?
Briefly, some of them, the only reason I looked at it was to send them to the MSP trooper that came to the house to investigate the stuff.
If you were to see some of that footage, would you be able to recognize it?
Of course.
I'd like to put up for authentication purposes what's been marked as people's proposed Exhibit 1.
Yeah, just switch it over for me.